Welcome everyone. Today we are going to do a Roots and Refuge book collab. So I'm going to go over some of my book recommendations. But for now, let's introduce ourselves. Grab a cup of coffee and hang out for the ride. Welcome to Stewpendous Growth. If you're not new here, welcome back. We are a small family with a big vision of stupendous growth from your garden to table dreams. A lot of people ask, what does that mean? Well, if you're aspiring to be a gardener and you haven't started yet, then just start. Get a pot, plant a tomato, plant some lettuce, whatever. Just start with one thing and grow from there. You can have stupendous growth in all areas of gardening, whether you're a newbie, beginner to an experienced level. And then we just carry that theme in our life for stupendous growth in all areas: personal growth, our family, the way we run our home and manage our home, and the way we grow our food and preserve, and just constantly learning and growing as individuals. So I'm super excited. Thank you so much, Jess from Roots and Refuge, for doing this book collab with us, for using the gift that God has given you. It's a tremendous gift. I love following along with you, and I'm really excited about this opportunity. So thank you so much. All right, so up first, the first book is The Urban Farmer by Curtis Stone. This is growing food for profit on leased and borrowed land. Last year, we really ramped up our garden production. We turned most of our backyard into our garden. So our main purpose was to grow food to sell at the local farmers market, which we did do. In here, he talks about, I'll just go over the chapters. So in here, he talks a lot about urban farming, a farm in the city, a viable farming business on a half acre or less, which I don't even know if we have a quarter acre out back here. So we really started growing our garden based on building up a backyard. The business of urban farming. So starting small, market streams, labor, self-promotion, software and organization. He talks about zones, crops better suited for the city, which we're in town. We're not in a city. Finding the right site, talking about leasing land for getting started for your farming if you want to farm for profit. Building your farm one site at a time. So turning a lawn into a farm plot. And that's kind of where we pulled information from in this book. The garden layout, which I'll go over that here in a second. Infrastructure and equipment, operations, production system, basic crop planning, and crops for the urban farmer. So in here, he has about, I'll show you this picture, turning a lawn into a farm plot. So you can see here, he's got rows. So he specifically designed out rows for max production in a small space. So like to form out these beds, which we used for our baby greens, our lettuce, it was 30 inches wide, which is, he says, a tiller's usually 24 to 30 inches, which we didn't till, which I'll go over that here in a moment. So we made our beds 30 inches wide, and then you can make the walkways anywhere from 6 to 18 inches. I believe my husband, he either did 6 or 12. I will pop in a picture here of how we built our rows for our lettuce production when he first laid out the bed. So yeah, this is a great read. It is available on Audible, which is how I listened to it when I was working my last job. And he actually got the copy to have in person, which was really helpful because in here there's also like price guidelines for like bags of lettuce, for your tomatoes and things like that to sell at a good market value. Okay guys, so this is the end of year 2 of doing the Curtis Stone method, the rows. We did not maintain the rows. We let things reseed and it just became one big garden patch. So So you can see how things have grown out and how you can't really see the rows anymore. But we still have a nice garden. Things have reseeded themselves. We have some nice radishes. And lettuces, of course. We got our kale and some other varieties of lettuce. But in here, these radishes, the white ones, have... Here's a nice one. This is all a volunteer garden now. Isn't that cool? Up next, we have Lasagna Gardening. This is a book that I have rented from the library a couple times. And basically, as you can probably guess, well, I'll just tell you right here. A new layering system for bountiful gardens. No digging, no tilling, no weeding, no kidding. So we already kind of follow this step. We lay out cardboard. That'll suppress the weeds, the grass, and kill that off. And then we build up the soil from there. So this is just a really good insight in how to do that. And this is by Patricia Lanza, called Lasagna Gardening. So in here she talks about assembling a lasagna garden. She uses wet newspaper, but like you can also layer cardboard. There's different ways to do that. And then another point in here is she has like a little thing here. Earthworms are living garden tillers. And so my husband and I are big believers on that. And I will pop in a clip here of our worm compost bucket that we have. And if you go out in our garden anywhere and dig up or, you know, pull something out of the garden, chances are you're going to have a worm or two there meeting you. Alright, so let me find my way in here. Somewhere is... Hold on. Okay, I thought it was about here. Oh wow, look at that radish. Yeah. Here it is. So this is my husband buried a 5-gallon bucket. And we got a bunch of worms. We haven't checked on this in a minute. And so in there we just put we put compost in, but actually I haven't dumped anything in here for a while. But it was good soil when we were using it regularly, and we put worms in here, and he drilled holes in the buckets, and so the worms were able to go out into the garden dirt. I love it. I want to put a couple more in, or one in each bed when we build our new garden after we move. So this is just really good for that kind of style of gardening. And then in the back here, she has different herbs and berries and different kinds of things to grow in your lasagna bed. Let me see if I can read the table of contents. So yeah, she has lasagna gardening basics, vegetables in the lasagna garden, growing herbs the lasagna way, berries in the lasagna garden, flower gardening, lasagna gardening in fall and winter, ignoring problems, and then finishing touches. So this is just a really great method for a gardening system that you could follow and implement like we do. All right, up next, this is another library find. It's called The New Healing Herbs. This is by Michael Castleman. It's the essential guide to more than 125 of nature's most potent herbal remedies. And I had gotten this last winter to really dive into certain herbs. And so, you know, it's in here alphabetically. You could look up, let me just stop here, find one. One that I can pronounce. Oh boy. There's got to be one in here I can pronounce. Cinnamon. There's cinnamon. Apple. Oh, okay. So it has a little background. From magic to medicine. Has like a little background thing. And then it goes in here to storing and preparing healing herbs. So directions for drying, power for powdering, setup for storing, procedures for preparation, like how to make infusions and herbal teas and things like that. Tinctures, ointments, balms, compresses, how how to obtain healing herbs, growing your own. You can always buy. So then what else it has, so like this is maca. Hopefully I'm saying that right. But it gives the family that it comes from, the genus and species, what it's also known as, what part of the herb or plant is used, if it's the root, the leaves, you know. It gives a little healing history. It gives therapeutic uses, prescription recommendations, and the safety factor, and then growing information. So, maitake mushrooms. So it's just a really great resource to have on hand. I would actually like to buy a copy of this book for myself because I go over to the library to pull from it. All right, so up next we have our own herb book. This was a Christmas gift from my mother-in-law to my husband. Well, to us, but specifically to him, but I read it a lot. Okay, it's the Complete Book of Herbs, a practical guide to cultivating, drying, and cooking with more than 50 herbs. I love this book. I love the bigness of it. It feels powerful when you hold it. I know it doesn't apply to anything. Okay. And this is by Emma Callery. So what I love about this book is it's really simple. It has an introduction to herbs. It has growing herbs, making an herb garden, using herbs, and then there's a herb directory and index in the back. So what I love about this, here's sage. Let's start with sage. So like it lists it, it shows a picture of it. Morning sun is great, but it's not good for a video. So it just talks about what sage is, the history of it, identifying it, cultivating it, how to use it, and then it offers a recipe for each herb. So I really, really like that it does that, because who doesn't want recipes? I mean, you get a recipe with each herb. So this is just a great resource. And in the beginning of the book, it has different, like making an herb garden. So it has like different layouts of how to make an herb garden. And then it also has like preparing the ground, buying plants, or growing from seed. But it also, I thought it had in here using herbs, page 31. Let's see what I thought it had like the drying and preserving aspect in here as well, because I know last winter I was looking into it. Oh, it does. So it has in here different drying methods, artificial heat, controlled drying, microwave drying, using desiccants, drying rooms, rubbing down, storing. You could do different projects with them. You could make like really pretty cards. Look at that. Isn't that neat? That'd be good for like a handmade, homemade Christmas gift. Maybe I'll do that this year. I always get the family photos done for the Christmas card though, but I could always tuck it inside. So that's a good idea. Oh, you can make a rosemary wreath. Rosemary is for remembrance. In one of these books, rosemary, it talks about how they used to take like rosemary and dip it in gold, and that's what the bridesmaids would carry for a wedding. And then it was also accustomed to give that on New Year's Day as a gift. And I just thought that was really cool, like rosemary's for remembrance, and I just love rosemary. They say it can help with dementia too. But yeah, so just this is a really cool resource. Definitely highly recommend having this Complete Book of Herbs book. These herb books have been a great resource. I have applied different drying techniques to my herbs from last year and this year, and preserving them and storing them. It's just a great resource to have on hand so you can pull from. You don't have to memorize or write things down. Okay. This one is another book I got from the library. It's called Compost. Compost making doesn't need to be hard work. It costs almost nothing, and the only secret ingredient you need is patience. I feel like you need patience in all areas, all aspects of gardening. That was by Ken Thompson. So this book I haven't like read in full. I just saw it at the library the last time I was there. I did skim through it. It's Compost, the Natural Way to Make Food for Your Garden by Ken Thompson. And what I love about this, I did skim through it, and a lot of the practices in here we are already applying to our compost, but it's really just, it's all about compost. Different ways to compost, in bins and piles, what you can compost from your kitchen, outdoors, woody garden waste, making sure you have just enough water, why to compost, using the compost. So it's just a really, really great little resource to have. And this is another one you could find at your local library. I did anyways. And last but not least, we all know this beautiful book. So I bought this right after she first released it. I do have to buy your homesteading book yet, Jess. I love this book. I love the pictures. I love the layout. I love these little bees. The bees are like my thing. Did you know aerodynamically the bumblebee should not be able to fly? But it goes on flying anyways. I love bees. I love what they do for the garden, what they do for the earth. I love honey. We love consuming honey. I have replaced a lot of honey, a lot of sugar with honey. But yeah, and if you don't have this book yet, shame on you. Go get it because you need it. It's just amazing. It's very romantic. Like when I lose inspiration, I just need to go back to one of her videos, or I need to just plop out this book and, you know, just go like literally go like this to a page and be like, oh my gosh, look how pretty, look, and then read her words and the way she talks about things. I'm not going to go in a lot of depth because I know a lot of you probably have this book, and if you don't, you need to get it. You just need to get it. But she talks about coming to the classroom, you know, turn your waiting room into a classroom, which is kind of where our Stewpendous Growth comes in, you know, like learn and grow where you are so you can get to where you want to be or wherever God is calling you to be. What every garden needs to succeed, creating your garden, growing with the seasons, the need for seed or not, which a couple of these books went through, like with the herbs, whether you buy started plants or grow from seed, grow something lovely, designing a captivating space. I need more coffee. Let's pause. Coffee, tea time. The nitty-gritty of garden management, making the harvest, and then grow on gardener. And I just love all these photos from back in Arkansas of her old garden. I'm obsessed with taking pictures of the garden. I just love it. Love it. And of course, you know, a lot of this stuff I've applied, a lot of this stuff she has talked about in her videos that I've applied over the last couple of years. And it's just beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Can't say enough about it. Beautiful. Look at the beautiful couple. I love following you guys and your podcasts and your stories and your lessons and, you know, your just life, just doing life and following your life and your marriage. And it's been very eye-opening and helpful in my marriage and my mothering and my gardening. And you know, we're going to be hopefully moving here soon and be able to get some chickens and start that little homesteading journey. So that is it. Oh, I just want to throw this in here for fun. Okay, this is the Farmer's Almanac 2023. My sister-in-law got this for a Christmas gift for us last year. And, you know, it's not like, I haven't read through the whole thing, but I read a lot of it. And it's not like tried and true stuff, but it's, there's some... this is fun. The propitious planting days. So there's like some folklore things like swear at your basil when you're planting it, which I won't because I try not to use that language. But the ancient Greeks and Romans believed that shouting curses would help, while sowing the seeds would help it to thrive. And then, like, you have to be angry when planting peppers or they won't grow. And I'm like, I didn't try that this year. I wasn't angry at them. This one's pretty neat. It's recommended not planting onions with potatoes because the potatoes will cry their eyes out. So I just thought that was funny. There's just some quirky things in here. There was different days of the year, like Valentine's Day and St. Patty's Day, like different things to plan and do for success. And then, of course, there is, like, different recipes and stuff in here. And different, like, days and times, you know, with the sun and the moon and planting, you know, throughout the year and just different things with the weather. And I just thought that was funny, so I just wanted to throw that in there. So that wraps up my book recommendations for the Roots and Refuge book collab. Once again, thank you so much, Jess, for allowing your viewers to have this opportunity to partner with you. I'm really excited about this. I hope we have a good collective resource, and, you know, Lord willing, I know that we will. And if you haven't started your YouTube channel yet, but you have had that heart tug, that calling, then you need to get out there and do it. Just do it. Just hang a backdrop, get your books, even if it's just one, or go to the library and read through it and be like, you know, I've done this. Or, you know, just start, because we wanted to start for a while and we finally did. And this past year we didn't get to do a lot of videoing, but because we're hoping to move and things are just kind of disarrayed. But this is exciting because this is a chance for you to start with a boom of being part of a collective resource. I think this is valuable and I think it is powerful. And so just thank you so much, and we wish you all the stupendous growth in your gardening endeavor. Thanks for stopping by.